Okay, good morning everyone, and thank you for being here. Today, our group will present an automatic accounting system we developed using Microsoft Excel. It's designed specifically for a manufacturing company that use a process costing approach. Before we start, let us introduce our group. My name is Adelia Ramadani, number 2 as a treasurer.
My name is Adisti Naura, number 3 as the leader.
My name is Syifa, number 5 as a secretary 1.
My name is Sarika, number 7 as secretary 2.
So let's start with the problems we are trying to solve. Many manufacturing SMEs are still calculate process cost manually, and when production grows, process costing problems also grows. More department, work in process, and factory overheads means more data, allocations, and calculations. This simply means more room for error. And this error may look small at first, maybe just wrong in the factory overhead percentage or a mistype in the work in process rate. But in process costing, small mistakes don't stay small. They flow from one department to another and finally distort the final unit cost. And because the mistakes are hidden, invisible mistakes become invisible costs. And this is the core problem that our systems aims to address.
And why is this such a big issue? Because inaccurate costing affects everything. Wrong costing leads to wrong pricing, and from wrong pricing affects profits, competitiveness, and decision making. When reports are delayed, they delay the management decisions also. And then the manual spreadsheets require repeated calculations, often by different people in different departments, which creates a mismatched data and incomplete work in process or factory allocations. In short, manual costing slows down the business down, but for SMEs trying to grow, this is a major barrier.
So, our project focused on solving this problem by automating the accounting workforce, and our objectives are simple. The first is automate journal and costing, so every transaction is entered fully in the system without manual work. And for the second is automate process costing and calculation, including the unit equivalent, cost per unit, and departmental transfer. And for the third is generate real-time cost reports. And finally, the final system is we make instantly without preparing them one by one.
Next, to implement this project, we use a real case. We use the company that called Roti Maestro, also known as RTM. So the Roti Maestro was established in 2019 in Jakarta and expanded to Malang in 2021. The signature product is a soft aromatic coffee bar sold at 7,000 rupiahs per unit. And the company uses a process costing system because its production is continuous and flow through clear sequential department that is mixing, baking, and packing. And supported by Halal SPP IRT certification, the company ensures quality and consistency to meet daily customer demand. And the next here is the basic profile and contact information of Roti Maestro.
The product we focus on is their best-selling coffee bread original butter. This product characteristics determines how the materials, labor, and overhead are assigned to each productions department. And next, here is the process flow at the Roti M manufacturing. It starts from the mixing department, where all of the ingredients is mixed until it became dough, or what we call as work in process. Move to the next department, which is baking, where the dough is being filled with butter fillings and add with the coffee toppings, and then we put it into the oven for baking. And finally, packing department, where the finished good is input to the packaging and ready to serve to customers. Each department has its own materials, labor, and overhead to allocate. And since the output from one department is being an input to another department, a single error can flow forward. And this is why the automation system is important. And here is the accounting cycle that we fully automated. It starts with identifying transactions and recording them into the journals. And then we prepare the ledgers and follow with the unadjusted trial balance. We also make the process cost report, and then we continue with the worksheets, adjusting journal entries and financial statement. Finally is the closing books. Every stage is linked together through Excel formula and structured sheets to make sure everything is consistent and traceable.
And next is the benefits of automatic system. First, it saves times in recording transactions, and second, it significantly reduces the calculations and posting errors. And the third one is provides automated and accurate journals. And lastly, it helps business owners to understand their financial situations clearly without needing an advanced accounting software. And next, we move to Excel. Now, I will show you how the system works. So we begin in the spreadsheets by recording all the initial data needed for the system. This includes the chart of account, the trial balance, the machinery and building details, the allocation details, and the raw material inventory stock details for June. So, once all the data is complete, our work becomes very simple because we only need to input transactions in one place, in the June transaction sheet. So on this sheet, we fill in the transaction details such as the date, the payment method, the descriptions, transaction type, the supplier or the customer name, the product, the quantity, the price, and the total. So the evidence number will automatically appear based on the transactions, and also the journal we choose based on the transaction.
And then, based on the selected journal, the system will automatically send the entry to the proof of transaction form. The first, this is the proof of S for credit and cash sales. And the next, this is proof of P for credit and cash purchase. And next, this is the proof of R for account receivable collection. And then this is proof of A for cash expenditure and account payable payment. And then the last, this is the material receipt form for incoming material. And then from each proof, the data flows directly into the correct special journal, such as the first is sales journal for credit sales, and the next is purchase journal for credit purchase, and the next is cash receipt journal for cash inflow, and then cash payment journal for cash outflow, and then next is adjustment journal for account adjustment, and next is memorial journal for non-cash transaction. And the last is material requisition journal for issuing the material to production.
These journals then fits both to the subsidiary and the general ledger of each account. And then the systems also prepare an important production-related report, such as production report that consists the physical units and the completion stage of each department. Next, cost of production summary that consists of total production for month, equivalent unit, cost per equivalent unit, and the inventory cost. Next, departmental cost worksheet that consists the summary of the cost of 3 departments. And finally, the cost of goods report that consists the calculation of the cost of goods manufactured and cost of goods sold. After that, the data will proceed into the worksheets, where we can see here at the worksheets, the company earns around 34 million in the net profit, and this will flow into the income statement. And then it will change or update the owner's equity through the statement of changes in owner's equity. And finally, it will show the final balance at the statement of financial positions.
And finally, the system performs the closing entries to close nominal account and the reversing entries to reset the selected account back to zero. And all this finalized value then flow into the ratio analysis, giving insight about the liquidity, profitability, and overall performance. In short, the idea is simple. You only need to record the transaction once in the June transaction sheet, and the system is automatically updated with everything else, like proof of funds, special cost sheet, production report, financial statement, and even ratio analysis. This means there is no repeat manual input, everything flow from one core transaction sheet.
And then to conclude, manual costing has the error and delays inside, and then the automation is bring clarity and accuracy, and then our Excel-based system simplifies the process costing that improve consistency and ensure better decision making for manufacturing SMEs. And this is bring us to the end of our presentation. We hope this project remind us that when information become clearer, the decision becomes smarter, and that small improvement in our process can create a big difference in the long run.